Welcome to On the Vineyard, a 10-minute weekly wrap-up of news from the Vineyard Gazette Media Group on Martha's Vineyard. I'm publisher Monica Brady-Meyerov. We're so glad you're here. On the Vineyard is sponsored by Martha's Vineyard Bank. There was a historic island-wide vote this past week, and the voters overwhelmingly agreed we need to renovate and expand our high school.
Of the 4,000 plus voters that came out in this island-wide election, about 85% voted in favor.
More on that story in a moment. There were also 2 birthday parties this week.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
This past week, the Martha's Vineyard Museum held an event to celebrate Time Life editor Dolores Allen Littles. It was her 94th birthday. Littles was a pioneering black photo editor who selected the exact frame from Alfred Eisenstadt's photos of the sailor kissing a woman in Times Square following the end of World War II. She was an Oak Bluffs resident, and Littles had an eye for what resonated visually. The exhibit is on until October. Also last weekend, there was a big birthday party with balloons, flowers, food, drinks, and cakes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Seeing so many clients, friends, family. It means so much to me. Today, we're celebrating 30 years of Shine Bright. 30.
Janaini Sampaio started cleaning houses with her mother 3 decades ago. Now, Shine Bright, which started on Martha's Vineyard, has expanded their business to Cape Cod and the South Shore.
It's hard. There's ups and downs, but it's wonderful. It's amazing. I mean, I'm so happy that I get to see all these people here connected. And not only that, like, you are into people's homes. Like, you have to create a relationship. You have to, because you're there like every week or every other week. So, especially when you're there for 30 years.
Congratulations on such an accomplishment, and thanks for keeping the offices of the Vineyard Gazette so clean. That's the sound of the historic press in the Vineyard Gazette offices in Edgartown printing the paper. That means it's time to go upstairs to the newsroom and check in with Bill Evell, the editor-in-chief, and the reporters on this week's news.
Earlier this week, the whole education community got a huge gift when the referendum for the new school and building project passed by a landslide. Ethan Genter is here to sort of break down the numbers with us, but town by town, it was pretty much an overwhelming yes to the new school.
Yes, Bill. Of the 4,000 plus voters that came out in this island-wide election, about 85% voted in favor. Each individual town voted along the same lines there. So this was a huge boost for the district, who has been hoping to have this new $333.5 million project.
And a lot was at stake. A lot of people have worked a long time, and there was state money that we were going to get, and there really wasn't a plan B. That's what we kept finding out as we dug into the story over the last few months and years.
Yeah, and what school officials have said is, we looked at those plan Bs and Cs as we went along here, and this was picked as the most efficient. And so if you vote that down, then you kind of have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what to do all again, which would take years. Construction prices only go up from here, and the state is much less likely to involve you in their funding if you shoot it down.
That's true. That's a good point. It wasn't like people didn't look for a plan B. They looked long and hard at all sorts of things, but this was really the best case scenario. And it was interesting. We had reporters at all the polls, and it was really overwhelming support at the exit polls. But even people who said yes, that some were worried about the expenses, about declining maybe school enrollment, but they really said that education is a vote for the future. Yeah,
a lot of people that we had talked to had said, I am worried. I'm worried that this could make things more expensive, and then does that push people off island? So you're kind of taking away the students that would maybe go there. But even with all those concerns, a lot of the people said, we don't really have a choice. This building is not doing well. If you've read some of our stories about some of the things they're doing, they have burners running to keep places warm. The building seemed untenable to kind of continue on as they were going here.
And now next steps, we don't start building right away, but pretty soon, right?
We are what's called, we've started the design. What it's really going to do is kind of, finalize some of the details on the design here, what goes where, the school size, this and that. So we're most of the way there, and then the school has predicted being shovel ready by the spring of 2027. And I believe it's going to take a couple years to build this. It's going to be a couple phases, building a new wing, moving students over there. So it'll be quite a process once it does happen. We are plodding along now. It's like actually happening, which I think was a thing a lot of school officials kind of were worried and maybe never thought we'd ever get here.
Yeah, it was a very exciting night on Tuesday. All right, thanks, Ethan.
Thank you, Bill.
Turning now to reporter Emma Kilbride for a topic that's also been discussed a lot this year, that is ticks. They seem to be everywhere, both in conversation and on our bodies, on the dog's fur. But recently, Robert F. Kennedy has turned his attention to ticks and the island. So what took place this week, Emma?
So last week, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had a press conference in New Hampshire where he rolled out several new initiatives aimed at tackling Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses and conditions, including alpha-gal. And he mentioned the island when he was talking about the rising concerns around alpha-gal, both in our region and nationally.
Yeah, it's sort of known that we are an epicenter. Now, when RFK Jr. visited the island last year, there were some actual protests, but this news, of course, was met with, widespread celebration on the island.
Yes, so the tick experts that I spoke to said that it is a very promising sign that the federal government is giving these issues this kind of attention. And I even spoke to one local leader who said that some of this new funding that's becoming available because of these federal initiatives could benefit research projects that island stakeholders are involved in.
Yeah, because some of those research projects have started already. Tick-Free MV with the deer surveys by drones to maybe do culling down the road, things like that. But yeah, so new funding really welcomed. Is that going to happen anytime soon?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Very little is known because the new funding source was just announced. There's $2.5 million in new funding. And so I guess we will have to wait and see how the island benefits from that.
All right. Thanks, Emma.
You can read more on these stories and all the news for free at vineyardgazette.com. This Saturday, the West Tisbury Farmers Market is opening, and there will be fresh, local strawberries thanks to Firecat Farm. Cook the Vineyard is all about strawberries this week if you haven't read it yet. The passage of the high school renovation project made me think of something else Ann Bassett, a TV producer at MVTV, told Lindsay Lee in an interview in 2014. She remembered the time she first entered the new high school in 1959.
It was fascinating because, first of all, it was a building with many, many rooms, whereas in Edgartown there was 3 grades had their desks in the study hall. And then the freshmen were in Joe Robichaux's room. But you could hear what was going on in the other room. And, of course, it was all you wanted to hear was what the big kids were doing. And so here there were hallways, corridors, rooms for all the different classes. It was a maze of just getting around. And it's worse now.
Soon that high school will be no more, and I wonder how the students will feel in a couple of years walking into a renovated and expanded high school. Thank you to the Martha's Vineyard Museum for this audio. Our theme music is from island composer and musician Michael Hayden. If you like the show, please follow us so you won't miss an episode, and tell a friend who loves the vineyard. Thanks to our sponsor, Martha's Vineyard Bank, a community bank whose employees live and work locally, providing personalized guidance and committed to understanding the needs of the community. Learn more at mvbank.com. I'm Monica Brady-Myrov. Thanks for joining us on The Vineyard. Talk to you next week.